So with that out of the way, we're going to get started. If you're ready, we are ready. We have Joe Turner. I sent the information out. I'll let him tell you a little bit about what he does, but he's a professional magician. Good material. He's worked with us on Cincy Magic for a couple of years.
Including last night.
Last night, yeah, it was great fun.
And he's past president of the IBM, so I've worked with him on that capacity. So yeah.
Somebody give him our condolences.
Yeah, just throw money. Well, hi everyone, my name's Joe. It is a privilege to be here with you all today. Could I get everyone's first name? Just
John. Eric.
Eric and John. Jim.
Allison.
Allison, 2 L's or 1? 2 L Allison, all right. Graham, Mike.
Jim.
Jim. Okay. And Randy. Okay. Joe. How many, are there other professional magicians in the room? People who do this for their full-time work? Okay. People who work part-time, people who do gigs. And then everybody else, fun. It's just awesome way to spend time. I have been doing magic full-time for 25 years. It's taken me around the world. I didn't plan this. I wish I could claim that I had a master plan and just executed it perfectly, and I, like Paul Gertner or something. Everything worked out. I have been the luckiest kid in the world of magic for 25 years, and more than that. And so, but along the way, I've had amazing experiences. I've met great people. And I've come up with a few ideas here and there. Some things are more original, some things are more touches on something you know. Some of what I'm going to share has been published, some of it is not. Some of it I just came up with recently, and I'm going to show you for the first time. I'm not showing anybody, but it's just cool. And I'm like, there's something there, and you guys should know about it. I said some of it's been published, Lincoln Ring, Genie, over the years, and some of it is not. But a good chunk of it is carved, but don't panic. Don't panic, because some of it is I specifically designed to be easy, because it was stuff I was designing for myself when I was too afraid to do other techniques. It was things I could do to skate around difficult things. And then there's some stuff that's a little harder. If along the way there's something else that occurs to you that you think I might be able to answer, feel free to ask questions. I already got a question about something I did last night. I'm happy to cover anything. And I brought, some of you already have my lecture notes. If you go on Amazon, they're $25. Here they're $20. But I'm going to give everybody a PDF of my current updated lecture notes that are in progress. It's all different stuff besides what's in here. So you'll get that for free. So don't panic. You're going to go over something. And we'll just cover the rest. Is there a hard stop time? How much do I have? An hour and a half? 2 hours?
Sometimes you lecture.
Right. So I mean, it's Sunday, and you might have places to go, and loved ones and all that crap. Oh my goodness.
We don't want to go back out in that.
Okay. It would not be the first time I've had to perform by cell phone flashlight. I produced the show in Atlanta for 11 years called Atlanta Magic Night. And it was a monthly show, kind of what Cincy's doing. And a few years ago, I guess it was before COVID, we went out and there was a big storm, and we were doing this, and we had everything set up, and it was time to start, power, gone, nothing. Complete pitch, except for like one security light in the back corner of the room. This bar and performance space. And so I gathered everybody around, and we just pulled in tight like this, and I sat down at the piano, played a little music. Glad to be here. I'm going to entertain you with this, and we're going to do some close-up magic. So everybody get your phone out. And they were all holding their phones up on the little table. And I did close-up magic for them, and we had a great time. And then everybody left, and the lights came on. That's how it goes, which is pretty standard. But I wrote a great blog article about it the night the lights went out in Georgia. And the lady who was there was really taken. The owner of the space was like, she worked for the Atlanta Opera. She said, truly, it's one of the finest things I've ever witnessed. That you were still able to deliver a show under those situations. And I'm like, clearly, this woman is not working with magicians. Because we all have to do that all the time. We have to improvise, adapt, and overcome. in pretty much every place we work. So, all right, well, that's enough chit chat. I have some fun things to show you. This was published in Genie, gosh, a long time ago, 20 years ago. And how many of you heard of 4F? The 4F Vectors Convention? I've been going to that since 2004. And when you go, you're expected to perform for the whole group the first time you go. Guaranteed. You got to perform for everybody. And then after that, there's kind of this expectation that you're bringing something to share, something that you're working on, or just something neat to show people. And so this is something that I developed. How many of you do ring and string? I love ring and string. I moved to Memphis from Atlanta last year, and one of the ways I grew my business in Atlanta when I first started was doing restaurant work, table to table in a restaurant. And when I moved to a new spot, yes, I've been a corporate guy for 25 years. I went and got a restaurant too. In fact, I got 2. So I think restaurants are a fine business building opportunity for people who want to do magic for a living. And it's nice to have something to do besides cards. One of the things about ring and string routines is that a lot of it happens down here. Like, this whole thing where you pull it and it's on your thumb, right? That release and all these things. And so the magic is happening right in my flattering area. Right? Look at the backdrop of this. Kind of hanging over here. And it's just, what I don't want them looking at is down here. I want them up here. So I came up with a move that is an unlink. So you string the ring onto the string like that. Now you can hold it up to your face. You snap and pull it, and it pulls right through. That's really good. I based it on an idea of, let's see, what's this one where it ends up in your hand like that. Like that one, the Dan Preston thing. I feel like I'm talking over it. What? You get two twitch. House two twitch. So this is something that happens all around your face. And if you take nothing else from this lecture, this I think is the most important thing about doing magic for people that you would like to paint. And that is they have to remember who you are and how to find you. And so most of this entire routine happens with my face. This move happens with my face in frame. And I think there are some wonderful convincers in this release. This is called unwetting ring. So in ring and string magic, there's 2 effects. It either goes onto the string or it comes off of the string. That's pretty much it. This is an off. And the way it works is this. What I'm trying to simulate is that. Putting the ring on the string. That's what I'm trying to simulate. And when you do that, see what happens? Bink. That little aglet pops right through the ring when you do that. That little motion is the natural motion, right? And you see that when it goes through. Well, this is the fake motion. And it looks, to me, 90% like the old one. But what's happening there is instead of going straight onto the finger, I'm putting it there. So it catches the string, then it touches the tip of my finger, and then it's going to rotate around and then go on my finger that way. You still got that little pick. So it's kind of, it looks like it's really going through, but it's a lie, which is, that's where the magic happens. And so that's what gets it. So after it goes through, this is my view. Up, okay? And it's your hand coming across that covers the twist. Now it's on the back of the ring. So I'm going to use my thumb like a little channel to pull it across. And then I'm going to pick up a little piece of the string as I stick my right finger in there and just grab it like that. And so now look at that. That looks good. It's hanging from the string, from the ring. And when I first published it in the magazine and in the book, you just hold it in your hand and you kind of that release. But I liked this thing where it catches on the thumb down here. So I changed it, and now I stick my little finger out there. So and the whole effect just happens just right here. So that's called unwetting ring, and it's the first trick in the book. And I was in Genie in 2009 or so, and I like it. If you do ring and string, I highly recommend. Now, in true confession time, that move is not in my main routine. My main routine has some different moves, and I'm happy to show you that they're not mine. I saved this one for when a table calls me back, and they say, do that thing with the ring and the string where it comes through, and they kind of telegraph the effect. And so I need a bonus moment that none of them have seen. And so that's what I use that one for when I perform. It's a little dirty on the back. I mean, obviously, you don't want to do it, surrounded. That's a little too much, but you can get the idea. And then, so on the back side, it looks like that. On the front side, that's not terrible. And then through there, that's it. Questions?
Have you ever let the audience member pull?
I have not. That's a great idea.
I just was looking at it, you're doing it.
As long as
I mean, you have to try it and see how it plays.
As long as they didn't pull too hard.
Yeah.
Just see.
Maybe not.
If you just grab those two, pull.
Brilliant.
There's nothing wrong with that. I like it. And I haven't. I guess you would just have to watch the angles of how people are in the group. But if it's just one or two people and the angles are good, that seems like a good way to involve someone one more time.
If your finger was curled in at the top, it should help block from the side of the
Yeah, I could probably
people are
Pulling in as much.
Yeah, that's what I mean, like
Yeah,
you
yeah.
just pull that in a little bit and you'll get a little bit of shade.
like that.
Yeah, that's if there is somebody on the side.
Oh, what was your name? I'm sorry.
I'm the one who like, Vincent.
Vincent. Awesome. Nice
Good to meet you.
All right.
Thanks for
So
coming.
anyway, that is on wedding ring. Those are great ideas. They'll go straight into my notes, and with no credit. No, I'm just kidding. I try to be responsible about crediting things, and I'm going to tell you some stuff later on today that I'm not 100% sure about credits, so you guys may have to help me with that. So that is unwedding ring. Let's set that aside. This is just a cheap ring, but I like to use a class ring, a signet ring. You know, borrowed ring is great. I like to get a chunky one that's not too delicate. Makes me scared of things. And then this isn't even the kind of shoelace I like. I like the shoelace with more of a round cross section instead of a flat. But obviously it still works. I had a guy take his own shoelace out of his shoe and his own ring off his finger and said, put those aside, do it with my stuff. This was in San Francisco. I was like, yes, sir, happy to do it. So that is ring and string. And that's just to prove that I don't have to have cards. But I do love cards. They're convenient. You can do all kinds of stuff. I'm going to describe some things for you today that are close up and even a stage routine with cards that plays huge. And I've done it. I've had the opportunity to do it a few times, and maybe one day other opportunities will present themselves. I remember when I first got into magic, one of the things that I thought was the quintessential, like can't top it kind of card trick, was a signed playing card in a wallet or an envelope or even a pocket. But someone's actual signed card disappearing and being produced from, let's say, a wallet or a pocket. To me, that was just like the quintessential card magic effect that you could do. But I was deathly afraid of pulling the card. Am I the only one? You feel very naked. So when you're first learning to do it, you feel how could anybody possibly not see my hand? I'm tense. I'm scared. Please don't look. You know. And so I came up with an approach for a card to wallet or card to pocket, either way. It could be signed. And it really, I think it is the most beginner, novice friendly approach to the plot that I've seen, other than using a duplicate, which takes away the sign. You could do a torn corner kind of a thing. But the way I did it was this, and I'm going to skip right to explaining how it works. Right? And all of that. First of all, when you're trying to learn to palm a card, one of the things you have to do to start with is control the card to a place where you can get it. And with a full deck, I mean, you get a passive, you get a side steal it, or you get a double undercut it, how are you going to do it? Wouldn't it be great if you hardly even had to control it? So I came up with this idea. This was working strolling. I asked if they're a teenager, I asked them how old they are. Right? If they're not, I might say, if I asked you to, name, if you got dealt a hand in blackjack that was, what was it? You get a good hand. Not blackjack, obviously. What would be a good hand to be dealt? You're trying to get them to name a number in the teens. And so let's just say that they name a number. What number would you name? A teen? A number in the teens. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So
There's always more. There's always more.
it's okay. I could have also said from 10 to 20.
Yeah.
9. Just kidding. So the first thing I can do is say, hey, well, we're just going to go with the number that's your age, or that's the number you thought of. And here, they can even count the cards off in your hand. Now, like you can take any one of them, let's say it's that one, and they sign it. Just for argument's sake, I know what it is, but I wouldn't know what it is. And then I say, once you've got it signed, I want you to stick it back in anywhere. Now, okay, step 1. I don't have to control this card. As soon as I look at this fan, I don't even know where it is, but I can probably eyeball it and know where it is. I can see that it is 6 cards from the top, just glancing at it. So even if you didn't want to do a lapel, that kind of thing, where they put it in and you close the fan and it's out jogged at the back and you can take it to the bottom with a cut, so now it's on the bottom. But even if they didn't do that, even if they just stick it in, and you say, stick it in, okay, great. I'll take one last look at it, and I'm just counting. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, that's 5, 6 at the top. Very good. Push it all the way in. Very good. They closed up. Now, I know it's 6 at the top, but I don't have to do anything. So what I'm going to do is move it to the bottom. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is it. So I'm just going to shuffle that one to the bottom as I mix up the cards. So that's all I have to do. Now, I am going to take the pen back from them, and I'm going to ask them to make sure they've got the cap on it. Very good. You hold the cards, and I'll take the pen. So I didn't even really steal the card out. I took the packet away from the card and just left it. So I went ahead and put the card in my hand, but it's covered completely. You got the cap on the marker. Very good. You take the cards. I'll take the pen and put it in my pocket. So now the card is loaded. To them, we haven't even started yet. I've already done all the dirty work that I have to do. And I didn't have to hide it because I just eyeballed the control and I left the palming. I let the cards cover the move. And all I had to do was half of the side steal. Just put it in my hand and wait. And talk. You got the cap back on the marker here, really. Then you take the cards. And I'll let this drop to my side. And I'll take the pen and put it in my pocket. So now I want to use some time misdirection. So the method has happened. I don't want to reveal what has happened until there's been some time to pass. I don't want them to think anything has happened yet. They shouldn't. So I'll say, okay, hold it between your hands, and I'll do the magic. And then I'm going to count 12 cards, even though it's really only 11. I'll just do that by doing this middle count, and somewhere along the way, I'll keep a break and just steal it back. Right? So I'll count, and you have 12. 1, 2, one's gone. 3. You had 12. The magic should have happened. 1 should be gone. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I said that. So there's 12. And I'm like, well, wait, there should be One is a card. So there should be
You got it, you started.
11. Very good. So it should, that's the one I started with. So there should be 11 now that the magic has happened. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Oh, it hasn't happened yet. Let's try it again. They put it, magic. I'm just going to do that steal a couple of times. And one of the things I like to do to disguise that steal is pull over 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then push those to the back of my hand. I stole already, but it's like I'm keeping those separate. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. The second time I'm spreading them so they can see. So that's 10, 11, 12. So it hasn't happened yet. I'm just lying. I think separating 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, pushing those back, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay. So I do that, then I let them do the magic. Boom. And they just count. Now they've got 11. Okay, 11. And you can reach in and produce it from the wallet, unzip it, and all of those things. It's not complicated, but it illustrates a couple of interesting points. First of all, there's two effects when you produce a card from an impossible location. Most people consider it one effect, but you're glossing over a thing you should be taking credit for. And that is, it's not just card from an impossible location. The first thing it does is disappear from where it was. So most routines don't ever take into account the fact that you vanished it, which is a pretty good trick by itself. And so if they signed the 6, and I've controlled it to the bottom, and I've loaded it, put the pen back away, and said, now watch carefully, and I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. We do the magic, and you count, there's still 12, count everything. Very good. Oh, now there's 11. What was your card? And they'll make sure you hand 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and their assigned card is vanished. That's a moment. That's a legitimate piece of magic you should take. Then you say, but the question is, where did it go? Show your hands empty, and you reach into your pocket and pull out one signed card, and that's the card. So you get two magical moments. Don't cheat yourself out of getting credit for being a wizard twice instead of just once. So that's called Vanished Card to Wallet, which the title highlights the fact that there's two effects going on, and it is also in this book, and it is titled Vanished Card to Wallet. So there's that. Any questions about that? That is rudimentary, but if there are novices or intermediate people in the room who have not done a lot of card magic, that is a wonderful gateway into the world of pulling cards. Pardon? Yes, you'll see the whole thing is explained in here. So how to control it to the bottom with that lapel close is in there. So here, and if they leave it out, you can just close it like that. You don't have to do it with one hand. Pull up on the bottom, double undercut it to the bottom if you want to. But just watch. My right pinky is on that corner. And if I just rotate it like that, it rotates on that pinky and just goes up to your hand. You're just going to hold it there. It's covered. That's the beauty of a bottom palm, is that you don't have to hide it. I mean, a top palm is a little more work. Not a lot of it, but for a beginner, that's very reassuring. Not just for anybody. It's just good cover. If you know you're being burned, protect yourself. So that is Vanished Card to Wallet. All right. Let's do something now that's not a card trick, and that I really thought was going to get me on Fool Us, but didn't. Oh, that's okay. How many of you guys know Johnny, the name Johnny Thompson, right? So Johnny, in 2002, lectured at the South Carolina Association of Magicians, and taught this routine, classic balls to net. Silent Mora, Di Vernon, Charlie Miller, and Johnny Thompson, and a lot of us learned it from Johnny. most of you have seen the routine, or are familiar with the routine, yes? Yes, nodding. So I don't have to do the whole routine. I will say that when we were in lockdown, I started doing it in a wine glass so that I didn't have to have two people holding the net and they could still see. And that's kind of fun. So there's things you can do to sort of dress it up and turn this over and make the balls appear. But there's one moment in the Thompson routine where he says, oh, the last one, would you like to see it go visibly or invisibly? And if they say visibly, you say, that one's not so hot, which I hate. I mean, it's a laugh and it's good for lay people, but it just bugged me. And then he says, if they say invisibly, you say good, because visibly is not so hot. And you just do a fake transfer and get on with your life and make the last one come that way. But I was wanting to come up with a way to dress up this last one. So let's see if I turned it into a guessing game. Say, which hand is it in? I'll make it easy for you. Watch carefully. Actually, so that's the same reaction I got at the Magic Circle when I did this. And so the basic idea is I'm cheating like a bad boy right there. And so I've got it in rear thumb club.
Nice.
And I say, I'll make it easy for you. And I put the hand over there, and I'm going to focus here as I bring it into the hand. This is based on what David Stone used to do with coins. Remember David Stone, French guy? And he had I used to do a whole routine with this, but I don't have all the coins, so I won't attempt to do the whole routine. I used to do it at Castle. If I had three, it's the same. I did it with $3 silver, but I don't have $3 silver. This one goes in, and kind of a hanging points thing. This one goes here, and you're there, and you're there. Now you have two, and you say, watch carefully, and there's the third one. So this is the David Stone thumb clip thing. And so you're just putting it in the back of your hand like that, and you drop your hand a few inches and let it come through here. So a bigger coin. So there's a routine that I did last night when I do my bottle routine. I'll use a couple vanishes like that or that. And I'll go, boom. And that's a great, it looks like magic to me. It feels like magic. There's only one other thing that I ever saw anybody do that made me feel that way. And that was John Carney did the one where it's like that and pushes down and it appears. That production. But so I thought about that move as I was thinking about how to replace. I said, well, how? And there's just happens to be enough, flesh usually in the back of your thumb here to catch a rubber ball. Now you're going to play with a lot of different rubber balls, and maybe whether you need to put some alcohol on your skin or some lotion or to get the friction. But then the question is, well, how can I get a ball right there in the process of doing something else? And so I decided to make a guessing game. So I'm going to I roll it around here with this thumb as I'm doing like that. And I hold it so it's back toward me. So which hand would you guess? We won't even do I'll make it easy for you. So watch carefully, and it disappears from there. And the fact that when it appears there, that looks like CGI.
Yeah, it's good.
So that's a good moment. That's not published. It's not in anything. But I'm recording this lecture, so if you want a link to this YouTube video privately, just let me know. I'll send it to you. Only the people who are here.
Yeah.
That seems fair. So, and if some of you are interested in this, I love this routine because all you need is 4 of those and a scarf, and you can play on stage. I mean, that's why you have a scarf like that, or a wine glass also adds a little elegance to it. If anybody's curious about the whole routine, I don't mind going through it at some point. But it's not really mine. I guess it's not technically Johnny's either.
Yeah.
It goes all the way back to 100 years old. But let's cover the other stuff, and then we'll go back to that. Okay. I would like, let's see, if you'll take a pen, and we'll take back here, and let's go back to you, let's go to you, and I've got some playing cards that I would like. Somebody's gonna have to sign 2. So please, there's 5 cards for this side, 5 cards for that side. Everybody just write your first name on a card. And somebody will have to put their name on 2 cards. That's fine.
Just out of curiosity, how many groups of cards do you go through in a year?
Not as many as you would think. I mean, I know some of these guys, they're like, well, I always use a brand
Oh,
new
yeah,
every
keep
card.
the
Keep
card.
the card for
I
Keep the
do
card
too.
for
Just keep using it back and forth.
I mean, some people are really diligent about making sure they only use a brand new deck of cards for every show or every performance. But I mean, if I know I'm going back to the restaurant and this deck of cards is still in pretty good shape, it's probably going to get wet, or somebody's going to spill wing sauce on it or something. I mean, I don't always burn a new deck. So I don't know. I'd probably go through 2 or 3 in a year, maybe. I don't go through like, I'm 2 packs a day. I don't do. I'm not that.
How are we doing this now?
Okay, have we got 10 signed cards?
Keep a
Oh,
card.
you want, yeah,
Yeah, I need all 10 cards signed.
where, what's your name?
Somebody signs 2 of them.
I've got 2.
Oh, you don't.
And I just do that so that, I mean, this is one of my favorite things, this illusion or this routine. And it's important that the cards are signed. So here's 2, and 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And those 10s, you can just pass them back over here. These are convenient. We're missing blue. There he is. Okay. So, beautiful illusion that uses 10 signed cards, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I assume that even if you don't recognize or remember your card, that you will remember your name. And that's the most important. We'll get this out so you can see there's no hidden pockets or anything, hidden contraptions. And one at a time, the cards from your packet will vanish. A little bit of magic. Magic would fly up the sleeve, across the stock line, the manly chest, right? Not particularly. But across and then down, and then magically land in, there it is, the far pocket, and that is Randy. So thank you, Randy, and that's the first card. Let's try another one. Now that you know what to look for, it gets easier for you and harder for me. So we'll try it. Up the sleeve, across the valley of the shadow of death, and then down into the other pocket. And here's the card that reappears, and it is the Queen of Diamonds. Who is that? Was that mine?
That was mine.
Okay. And of course, that leaves us with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 cards remaining. Now let's see if we can save some time. 2 cards up the sleeve, across the delta quadrant, and then down into the pocket. And if I've done this correctly, I've gotten 2, and that would be 4 of diamonds. Oh wait, there's another, Mike. You saw, okay, very good. And then, that's you? Really?
Yeah.
Okay. But that's 4, so that means we should have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 cards remaining. Let's see if we can speed this up yet again. We'll give it a snap, and it goes up the sleeve, across, went into the wrong pocket, I'm sorry. That time, the 5, Allison's card went into my left pocket. And that leaves us with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 cards. Allison, since your card was, we're halfway through, we're halfway home. You'll get to decide, would you like the next card to go in my left pocket or my right pocket? It's your choice.
Right.
It's gonna go in the right pocket, so I'm gonna work from this hand. Snap up the sleeve, across the outer rim, and then down into the pocket. And that should be the next card, which is John. Very good, Jay Wynn. So you signed 2 also?
I did.
Okay, I'm wildly confused. But that's 6 there, so we should have 1, 2, 3, 4 cards there. That being said, Allison, if you'd said my left pocket, I could have done it that way too. Up the sleeve, across in the opposite direction, and down into the left pocket, and that is Zorro. I very, very good. And that finally leaves us down to 3 cards remaining. So let's try this one. We'll try the 8 of spades. That's Graham's card. And we'll give it a little snap and across. Maybe it went to the other one this time. Oh, I know what happened. It gets a little caught in the shoulder that time. And there's Graham's card. It gets caught in the shoulder, and that leaves us with 2 cards, the 5 and the jack. Now, for normal, regular human beings, they're getting bored at this point. For magicians, they're getting interested at this point, because most magicians want to say, well, what's going to happen with these last 2? So I'll ask Graham, would you like the 5 or the jack to go next?
Jack.
The jack. Watch carefully. The jack. We just hold it in my hand, it becomes invisible, and it magically floats into my pocket, leaving me with the 5 in my, oh, that's why I did the wrong one. Leaving me with the 5. Actually, no, that is the jack, and the 5 is it. Oh, I know. Now everybody's looking, because they're like, how's he going to do that? Because you know that you cannot, certainly can't palm the card. It's going to stick out one side or the other when you do it that way, unless you hit it just right. And it ends up right there. So no. That's the left. That is the there's a little work in that. There's a little, not as bad as you would think. There's a little work, and that wasn't the best performance, fair enough. But let's go through this. My favorite thing to do, which I did last night, favorite card routine is multiple selection, where I have 7 cards, or 8 or 9 or 10 or whatever, and I produce them in different ways. But one of the great blessings that if you do this long enough, and you're fortunate, then you get repeat clients. So you get asked back to places. And I needed something to sort of take that spot in a situation where I had been asked back. And so this uses 10 cards. They can be signed for convenience sake. In a show, I would probably have them signed, maybe have 10 cards, 1 on each table, or all 10 set on some seats or something. If there's a card on your seat, use the marker on your table and just sign it. I'll come back to you later. And I could just gather them signed instead of taking time to have them signed. And my 10 card to pocket routine, which I call 10 cards to the pocket. I need to come up with better things. But it's based on Bill Malone and Dwayne Laffer, who is not a name you normally associate with card magic.
Unless you pull a bunch of silks out of the pocket.
Unless there was unless I had a silk fountain at the end. No, I love Dwayne, and I saw him do Cards to Pocket. He did a DVD 15, 20 years ago. I was like, that is. So I put some things together, different routines, and then there were some moments that I knew I wanted something different to happen that I had seen. I was like, what can I do to spice this up a little bit? But one of the things I liked a lot was getting halfway done before you even start. And so the cards are signed, and I show that they're all 10 here, and I take a break under 5 as I show that the pocket is empty, and I make a witty and perhaps off-color comment, and I say, feel free to tuck that back in. No, I'll do it. I just tuck it back in. And so I just put 5 cards in. So I'm halfway done with this trick. I love that. This, in fact, let's just pause and appreciate that. Because that is the way to, that's the way to go, is be done quickly. So, the first 4 cards are just gimmies, total gimmies. First one, snap, I reach in and take it out, and Milk taught me about whose it is. And I want them to see my hands are empty, and then I'll do another one, and I'll reach in, and now I have to start proving. The first time, I don't, but the second time they're like, well, what, were they just in there? What's going on? So I want them to see that there's 8 cards here. There's only 5, but I want them to see that there are 8. One of the rules I set for myself was I didn't want to do this to hide 3 cards. I wanted to show the faces of the cards. But I can't show them all because I'd be repeating. However, if I start on house left, I show 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm still aiming to this side of the house. On this next time, I'm going to push those over and take them back as I take this one out of my hand. 5. And now I'm going to show over here, and this is going to be the one that I showed over here. 6, 7, 8. And so I'm acting fair, but I'm using the audience as misdirection for themselves. Basically, in concealing the fact as if I'm trying to be so clear about showing every card to the audience. I'm in fact using that to my advantage as a tool to hide some cards from this side of the audience, which I think is very nice. Now, in order to speed things up, I do 2 at a time on the next one. So cards 3 and 4 come out together, and I banter about that. And now I'm going to do this again, but I'm just going to go back the other way, and I only have to steal 1. I have 5, so I only have to steal 1, and I can steal it whenever I feel like it. So it's going to be this one, 1. I don't want anybody to see that. It's going to be the last person on this row is going to see this card. 1, 2, and just whenever I feel like it, 3. I'll just put this one on, sliding that one off, 4, and then 5, you can't see that, 6. So I've done the same routine, the same technique, but I went back the other way. The first time I had to steal 3. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4. I take 4, and that lets me push 3 off like this, as I take 5. And then I kept those 3 again. And then the next time I only had to take 1, so it can be whenever I feel like it. Before the end. I could do it on that right there. So that is a little behind the scenes cheat, which I think is very nice. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, and I've shown 6 cards. Now, I'm going to take the bottom 2 and hold them in my left hand while I talk to whoever this was. And I might say, oh, Mike, did you sign 2? Fantastic, very good. I'm just going to use that to square these up and cover it. This one is the fake. There's really a card here, but I'm going to pretend there's not. And I'm going to put these in this pocket, leave 1, and take 1 out. And show that one. So I put 2 in, and just immediately took 1 of those out. So now there's 1 here, and now there's 1 here. So I'm ready to go again with no moves, which I'm gonna. But so now there's 5 on the table. I have 3 here. I need to count as 5. I'm not gonna get away with that again. So I am gonna do an extended Elmsley count. So so I'm gonna go 1, push and take again for 5. So I'm counting 3 as 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then I let them choose which side. It doesn't matter. Acting, then so they go to the left, there's that one, and now I'm going to do 3 as 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, regular Elmsley. I could have done it if you'd chosen the right card, the right side. I could have gone to here. There's that is, and now I count fairly, 1, 2, 3. When I'm counting fairly, I like to spread the cards a little bit, not like I'm going 1, 2, 3, not demonstrating that I'm spreading it, but just as if I could have let them spread the last time. But I did 2, 3. And so they can see 3, sort of, but I'm more casual with it. And I hope that bleeds over backwards into what I was doing before. I think I'm casual. So now I've got 3. I don't know what 3 cards these are, but I do know 2 of them will contrast better. 2 of these cards will have a better contrast. In this case, I would say probably the 5 and the 4, right? Because they're different numbers and different colors. This would also be okay, but this is okay. If I had a red face card here, I would use these 2, right? Let's say that's what. So I look for the 2 that are the most contrasting. I'm going to save those. So this third to last card is whichever card isn't the most contrasting. Okay? And so this time it's going to be the 4 of diamonds, and that is gems. And I'm going to put it on the packet, angled where the left corner is kind of in line, and the right top corner is up, and this corner is kind of off to the side. So it's this weird, this I learned from the Bill Malone routine. I think he calls it Johnny Carson's favorite trick. But, and the reason this is because I'm going to one-handed top palm that card off of this 3-card packet into my right hand. Now, if you do a one-handed top palm, then you know that it's not terribly difficult once you get a feel to push on that corner and make that card pop into your hand. But in this case, I have 51 other cards to push against, so that's pretty rigid. In this case, I don't have but 2 other cards, so I can push all day on that. There's just not enough resistance to pop that off. It's very difficult. But if you rotate it, then you have these 2 little points connect with your thumb. Finger goes there, and now if I squeeze, what's going to happen is eventually this point will release before this point. So if I squeeze, that one comes loose and pops the card up into my palm. Let me do it this way, maybe you can see. So the one on top, right, it lets go first. Just geometry. And so what I'm going to do is hold this here, reach into here. Oh my goodness, it didn't go, which is in trouble. And I'm going to come over here and do that as I look in this pocket. So now it's in my palm, and I'll take it back and pull it from my shoulder, or depending on what comedy club you're at, you might pull it elsewhere, whatever the audience. And so that one's the third to last one. That's card number 8. So now I have cards 9 and 10. These are fun. This is why I do this routine, is because these are the most fun. I hope you're having fun. I'm having a blast. On this side of the cards, it's nothing but fun. On that side of the card. So I've got the 5 and the queen. What I'm going to say is, okay, would you like me to do the 5 and the queen? And I just miscalled them. But you don't know, and I didn't make a big deal out of it. So I've shown you, we've got the 5 of clubs and the queen of diamonds. So would you like to do the 5 and the queen? And I'm just lying like hell. But there I am. So they said, you like the 5. Okay, watch carefully. The 5 of clubs, I'm going to vanish it. Will cause it to jump into my pocket, leaving me with the queen. I did the wrong one. Okay, so what's happened here is your standard 10 vanish. I pretend to make it, and now I say that I caused the 5 to vanish, leaving me with the queen. And it's not the queen. And that's a double, and I'm doing that. I'm just grabbing it from the end and letting it hit to sort of sound like a single card. So that leaves me, I must have done the wrong one. And so now I'm going to steal this 5 and stick it in my pocket for the rebound. And the way that's going to work is on the way down to turn this card over. So here's what it looks like to you. On the way down, I've stolen that card off the face. That is a Tenkai steal. So I've got a double. I'm holding it on the right top side here, kind of 2 fingers on front, thumb at the back, and I'm just gonna push. And if you try it, you're kind of rotating that card into your right hand. And it goes under your thumb. The card on the face goes under your thumb. So, but it's in this continuing motion of showing that side. So the back goes, so now I've switched it out. So I'm here, very good. And so now I'm just gonna jam this hand into my pocket. So, well, there's the 5, means the queen is up here, and you get this rebound. That's the best part of the team. I think that's the best moment, because you really don't see that coming. So just to go, okay, you want the queen to vanish. Queen will disappear, vanish into my pocket, leaving me with the 5. I did the wrong one. It leaves me with the 5. Actually, no, that is the queen. There's the 5 up here. And that's a good moment. That's a good moment. So, and that leaves me with 1 card. And here's how I handle the 1 card. It is a little bit of hand washing, a little manipulation. I'm not that guy. I can't do that. But 1 card I can hide reasonably well. And what I'm going to do is use the same move I just did and put it into that same 10 kai. So it's here. So I make it vanish there. I'm going to brush, and on the second brush, I'm going to just drop it off in a cop position. So it's here. And then I'm going to brush. So it's behind. It's in the back of my hand there. As I show this hand. And also, this is kind of out of frame, and this is in frame. And then I'm going to put my hand on the card as I rotate around and play with my ring. And so that's the vanish for the last card. Is through. You can't really do it unless you hit it just perfectly, and that's when the card vanishes and goes where you want it. And then you pull it. So that's the last card. That's 10 cards in the pocket. And that is, as I said, based on Bill Malone, which has Marlowe. It's got some Vernon ideas. It's got Dwayne Laughlin, and then a little bit of my own ideas. Who developed the first rebound? Was it? The name escapes me at the moment. But a couple of rebound and ricochet routines. Also, like when you see in a Matrix. Frankly, in a Matrix, when the car, and they boom, they go back. That moment is, it's exciting. So I wanted that moment in this routine. So that is probably the heaviest lifting of anything we're going to talk about. Do we need to take a break? Does anybody? Just feel free to manage yourselves as you need. I have some more card stuff on the agenda, but in case you're getting bored of cards, let's do something different. Just for a second. You may have seen this over here. This rope on the table. I've never put this in my lecture, but I thought I would share this with you since I had the rope. And please don't mock me about this. But this is a mind reading rope. I don't know if you've ever seen a mind reading rope before, but it may be the only one in the world. I was very fortunate to get the one section at Home Depot that had the mind reading rope. And I can prove it to you. Sorry, your name again. Vincent. I'm going to let the mind reading rope do this. Don't listen. I'd like you to, in your mind, think of a positive, whole integer between 0 and 2. Don't say it out loud. Don't say it out loud. But let me know when you've got it. And okay, mind reading rope is going to think about it really hard, and maybe you have to think a little bit harder than that. And is it 1? Unbelievable! Unbelievable! The mind reading rope. Thank you. Thank you, Allison. If I asked you to take a 6-sided die and just roll it, what number did you roll? Is there? Could I possibly know that? I couldn't have known that. But the mind reading rope knew that you were going to roll 1, 2, 3, 4. I have no idea how he knows. He just knows. He knows other things. It doesn't have to be that. Mind reading rope, knower of all, seer of all, according to the latest contracts in the Magic Castle, how many religious and political jokes should I include in my act in the parlor? That is correct. That is very good. So that is the mind reading rope. This is a piece of rope, but you get a solid minute out of just having fun. And there's some fun things in here, and there's something else that I just happened upon the other day that I'm going to show you. But does everyone know how to snap a knot in a rope? If you don't, it's really fun to play with. And I do it in my ring and string routine. In my regular routine, I don't know if it'll work with this string, frankly, because this is a lightning piece of stuff. But what I'll do is I'll hand the string out, and I'll say, in the olden days they would do this with a piece of twine or leather cord or something. That's from Sports Authority. And then this is just an ugly old piece of costume jewelry. And back in the day, in the old days in vaudeville, they would do tricks with a rope, and the guy, like a cowboy or something, would take the rope and see if he could hit it in just the right spot. And this is really light. When I hit it, it's flying. But you can get it out. And I'll say, you know what they call that trick? Back in vaudeville, it's called people will watch anything. That's what they call it. And so if it takes a few times to hit, then so be it. But you can't get the knot to eventually. And what's happening? And then I just do that to take up time while you're looking at the ring, and then I'm into my ring and string. Well, same idea. You talk about Will Rogers and cowboys and vaudeville and all that sort of thing. But the basic idea is you're going to let it go about to the floor. So what is that? A little under my shoulder, about to the floor. And I've got my index finger free. I'm going to come down. I'm going to come down, and as I come down, I'm going to try to hit right about there, a little lower than halfway. And that's going to cause this to flip through. And that's what we're going for. Can't slow it down. You have to play with it. But what you're trying to do is get that top loop to flip itself down over the bottom piece. And it's one of those things that when you're a good voice, you can do it on the first try every day. So I'm doing that with my finger. I'm just hitting it with my finger. Phil Wilmark published a version where you don't use your finger. You just do the rope. And what I'm going to do is come down and just try to hit this part of the rope onto that part of the rope down there and cause it to hit. And I find it much easier to do with my finger. I never seem to get quite enough velocity. Oh, there we go. So I'm not as comfortable with that. So I'm doing this in the parlor at the castle 2010-ish. Okay? And if it takes a couple of times, it's a little frustrating for everybody. You're like, when is that finally going to make a knot? You can cheat by making a knot up here and all of that. And Carl Valentine came up to me afterwards and said, here's what you should do. And I think this is a great idea. There's this routine, I think it's Cena Bennett, I think, in Tarbell, or in the Stuart James book. It's this idea. So if you reach down with your hand toward the audience and grab the back of the rope, as you pull it to coil, that's dropping on the other side. And you do that again, slightly bigger. And you do it again, slightly bigger. If I reach through and pull this loose end through there, I'll get 3 knots. But it really helps if I kind of flip that over first so that they fall and don't get caught. And so what you do is you hopefully get it on the 3rd try. So watch carefully. There is number 1. Oh, I missed it on that. It's too bad. I'm set. There's 1. Let me try it again. And there's 2. I missed it on 2. Now if I hit it, I stop. And if I miss, If I miss, and that's fine. I've loaded for 3. I tried 3 times and I didn't get any knots. And then I got 3 knots that appeared as my finish. So it's a cover. It's an out, but it's good. And then to take them out, you look at the knots and you see that there's like a high part and a low part. We put the high part to the back, and we pull the low part. The high part to the back and pull the low part. The high part to the top and pull the low part. Then if I pull this through here, they'll all untie. So you get a little bit of stuff out of just a piece of rope, not even a gimmick piece of rope. And you guys are familiar with this this penetration. You're familiar with that, right? It occurred to me the other day that you know this the silk rope, this thing. So we can find the soft part in the rope, right? There, right? So that looks good. That's a good thing. That's tar rope. But if you put that scarf and actually just tie it onto the rope, you say, now we've identified the soft spot in the rope. We'll put that behind my neck. We'll put that behind my neck. And as it pulls through, that spot is still marked. And it kind of looks like it comes right through you. So I think there's something here that it ends up in front. So that's new. I think it's an idea to explore because it seems to draw your attention to the rope. At least for me, it's like I look at that spot on the rope. Let me put my.
And it really does look like the scarf's coming straight through. You don't see it come.
It really is. I think it enhances the illusion. And I've never seen anybody do it. And I was just playing with it. That's worth remembering. So there's some rope stuff that we talked about. Let's do some more cards. Okay, this next section. Okay, what I have is a little section with 3 things on memorized deck, which don't panic, just relax. And then I have 2 practically self-working things to close, and we'll be done. Fair enough? So let's talk about memorized deck. I don't know what to tell you, except the memorized deck changed my life. Memorizing deck cards, everybody's like, I can never do that, blah, 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 blah. Yes, you can. If you want to, you can. Everybody can. Don't even learn, if you can't learn the whole thing, learn half of it. Even that will help you tremendously. But a memorized deck of cards. When I first got interested in the idea of a memorized deck, all there really was Aronson stack or Nicola from the Encyclopedia of Card Tricks. And I think, Michael Skinner had some work and some others. And there was a guy in Florida named Bob Clays, K-L-A-S-E. Still around, I don't know if you ever knew him. I knew him on an old internet forum called Magic Talk in the late 90s. And he had an interesting memorized deck that he had developed. And I liked it better because all the things that were built into it were more my style. I'm not a gambling routine guy. And to me, the Aronson stack, it just seemed to be so many poker routines. And I just, I don't care. I mean, it's great, and I know power poker, different things, 10-card poker deals and things, but I didn't want to memorize a deck that the main tool it gave me was poker routines. And Bob's stack had, if you gave it, a certain number of Pharaoh shuffles, you ended up with the 4 aces at positions 2, 3, 4, and 5. You ended up with red-black separation at one point. You ended up with red-black alternating at one point. There's different things that I could use for out of this world and other kinds of triumphs and things. And that's what I did for a while until Mnemonica, Juan Tamariza's stack, started to get talked about more. And it was before the book ever came out in English. I was ahead of that. It was on a VHS. So people were talking about it. It was the stack, I got it. And I thought to myself, well, if everybody else is learning arithmetic, I'm going to learn tells. Just because that is my nature. I am something of a contrary. Some of you know that about me. I don't mean it, it's just I am who I am. And if everybody else is going this way, there's a part of me that feels compelled to go over here and say, oh, really? And so I learned tolerance, and it absolutely changed my life. Now, I'll do some routines, but I want to tell you, I tried to learn it in the ways that, in the book it says how to, he said, draw the number of the stack on the card, and with colored ink and pencils, and make cartoons, and then sing yourself a song on a tape recorder as you do this, as you go through it, so you write your own little song. And I tried that, and I'm a musical theater guy. I mean, I'm not afraid to sing, it's not that. But I just felt utterly ridiculous trying to sing my way through this deck. I was like, is this really happening? I just couldn't get comfortable with that whole process. So I hit, and also the other problem is when you memorize a deck of cards, most people start at the top, they try to go all the way through to the end, and every day add 2 cards or something like that. Which is a great idea. It's an approach. But what happens is you get really good at 1 through 20. And then it starts to taper off. It's like 43. And that's how I did it. And so I said, okay, I'm going to fix this. So I'll tell you in a minute how I learned the stack in 6 hours while driving. And it has stuck with me my whole life. And if you don't like that way of learning it, Jeff Williams has some wonderful books on traditional mnemonic pictures and things to help you with that. And I've studied Harry's stuff and other mnemonic memory techniques. I've spoken of it. I teach it still to people, but that's not how I learned it. I'll tell you how I learned it, and take it or leave it. I already got the check. So I mean, but let me just add. I mean, like for example, you were Jim. Yes, you were Jim. Wait, you were Jim. You were Eric. Eric. If I asked you to name out loud any random card in a deck of cards, what card would you say?
The 4 spades.
Now, unfortunately, you named the one card I will not be able to do for you. Because before I started this whole lecture, I put one of these cards in my pocket in case someone said the 4 spades. That's a killer moment. I have sold so much work just from that. So basically, the number one thing I use to memorize deck for is an index. I've got every card here. I know where they are. I can get to them. It doesn't matter. And so I can save a lot of time finding cards. I'll use this in the multiple selection routine, which I did last night. And so if they call the wrong card, like let's say if I know their card is the 9 of hearts, and I say, what was your card? And they say the 9 of diamonds. Then it doesn't matter because I happen to know that was on the bottom. So I think, the 9 of diamonds, oh, fantastic, the 9 of diamonds. And they're even more impressed if they were lying. Because they'll know and they'll be kind of ticked off. And they'll say, well, actually, it was the 9 of hearts. And I'll say, fine, it's the 9 of hearts, whatever you want. And so I love the fact that this puts me in complete control of the entire day. Okay? So if they lie, if they forget, if they forgot, honestly, I can say, okay, well, let's just name a card that you haven't seen so far. And I'll just do what I did. And so the way I did it is I printed the deck out on a half of a sheet of paper, 1 through 9, 10 through 19, 20 through 29, and also forth. Or 1 through 10, 1 through 20, however, you just break it up into some columns. I had a 6-hour drive from Atlanta to Jackson, Mississippi. And I said, okay, I'm not going to do this anymore. Because so what am I going to do? I said, okay, I'm just going to pick 2 numbers, 1 and 9. And I'm gonna learn those two cards. And any combination of those cards. So 1, 10, 11, and 19. Right? 1, 10, 11, 19. So I learned those 4 cards. And as I'm driving along, I don't have an app. Now they have apps. You can do memory training with apps. And you can, I don't know, probably just plug in a chip at some point and know it. But right, I didn't have any apps. I just used the environment as my app. Because when you're on the road, you see license plates, mile markers, exits, phone numbers on billboards. There's all kinds of numbers coming at you all the time. So I'll just look around. Oh, there's a 9. So a 9 is the 9 of spades. And oh, there's a 10. 10 is the 2 of spades, and 1, right, 1, 0. Well, 10 is the 2 of spades, and 1 is the 4 of clubs. 4 of clubs. And I'll just do that with 9s and 1s. And that's okay, let's add a 2. So I have to learn card number 2, card number 12, card number 20, card number 21, card number 29. Right? So I just added those and I would draw. So now instead of learning them in a line, I'm learning them in patches all over the whole petri dish. I've infected several spots on the petri dish, and they're all growing until they cover the whole surface. Now I'm drawing, okay, let's add an 8. So now I can get 18 and 28. Okay? And I would do that. And by the time I got through all of it, I had been drilling and learning them in random order. Basically random order. Well, that's how you use it. It's really not, and so by not learning it in a fixed order, learning it in random drills, I think that changed the way my brain absorbed it. And that made it very useful for me. So now, if you name any card, I know exactly where it is, dead cold, doesn't matter. And the other thing is, I can cut to it, plus or minus 3 or 4 cards, generally speaking, without overthinking. And that you just practice with estimating half. If you can estimate half, that's 26 or 27. Half of that is 13 or 14. Half of that is 6 or 7. And you're probably within 5 cards either way now, if you can sort of get, you know. So it's not so bad to do estimation. So Mike, if I asked you to name a random card,
6 of hearts.
that's 23. So I know it's a little less than halfway. So I'm just going to ruffle a little bit. That's 22. As I roll around, so I got 23 on top. So I can one-hand top column it, and it can be right up there. There's the 6 cards. So it is an amazing tool. Transformed the way, not just that I did card magic, but just my confidence as a performer. Because now, no matter what happens, if I have a deck of cards in stack, I can solve any problem. I can set that aside and move on. I can just do things that nobody can explain. Card at any number. Some other things that I'm going to show you right now. So, Allison, forgive me for picking up. Could you help me for a second? Not to be stereotypical, but I have picked on everybody else so far. So I didn't go straight to you.
That's right.
I was trying to. It has to be. So.
Best for last.
What's that?
Best for last.
Well, you know, so if I asked you, let's say, Grant, name a random card, and my friend Allison is going to find it because I'm on break.
6.
6 of clubs. So I already have it. Did you know mnemonica? Okay. Well, while we were talking, it was 3rd from the bottom, and I just cut it to the top, so I know where it is. So that is super easy. What?
Nice.
Yeah. So he gave me an easy. So what's going to happen is I want you to hold up one finger, and I'm going to spread through the cards. I want you to touch any card. And you kind of touch both of those. I'll give you 2. We'll see. So there's the 7. It's so close, really. It's black and it's a 7, and this is a club, but neither one of those was the 6 of clubs. Don't feel bad. I'll put you on the spot with no training, no support staff, no systems, no mentor. How can you be expected to succeed in an environment without these things? You can't. But just by instinct, you touch the 7 and the jack. We're going to leave them right there together in the middle of the deck. Put your finger on top of the deck. You remember the card we were looking for.
You need 6 of spades,
So keep your finger on top. Say the card.
6 clubs.
And then those 2 cards, they were next to each other. They're no longer next to each other. something has jumped between those two cards. I'll let you take that out and show everybody the card.
You can train at the track, you can train at the race course.
So there you go. Don't go anywhere. That is sort of a variation on something that Roy Walton published called the Smiling Mule, which if you have complete Walton, volume one, the Smiling Mule, it's a sandwich trick. But I learned this from Jim Surprise. Anybody in this room ever know Jim Surprise? His real name was James W. Surprise. S-U-R-P. He was an attorney in Memphis, Tennessee, long before I moved there. But I met him. He came into an Atlanta Harvest of Magic one time, Randy. We're sitting at the bar at the hotel, and he does this trick for me. First guy I ever really saw use a memorized deck. I had no flipping clue. How could, because I was like, oh, those aren't rough and smooth, those aren't, what is going on here? And random, and he showed me this, and I was like, that is unbelievable. Because you never look for the cards. So whatever card they name just magically shows up. That plays at a cocktail party. Unbelievable. You have 4, 5, 6 people around, and you let someone else touch it, and then you let them hold the deck. And then if you trust them, you can ask them to spread through, and they see that that card has appeared in between, and then you take it out. Unbelievable. So what's happening here is quite simple now that you know I kind of exposed the front end of it. Name a card. Jack of Diamonds is 32. So I'm going to try to cut a little higher than that. So there's 30 right there. So I know the Jack of Diamonds is second from the top. Just double check right there. So I just know that. Now it's on top. Now it's second from top. So what's going to happen is I'm going to spread and call that second card underneath until they touch a couple. They touch a card. And if they touch one, I still accuse them of touching two. So you want that one right there. Okay, let's turn over that pair. The Queen of Hearts, that's so close. And as I take it here, I just stick that one under it. And I put that one in. So it's sandwiched in place now. Okay? So that is now there. But it still looks great. In fact, if you're careful, you can just set it on the table like that, and it still looks clean. And then you can close it up, and that card is sandwiched in between. And you never looked at any other cards, which technically you didn't. I just looked at the card on the bottom, and that told me where I was. And they can spread through, and the card is sandwiched between. And if I'm working in a place where I don't want to take it out, I'll say that's the card, and I'll just show it up like this. And then you can turn it over, and there it is. And I can just put it back where I need it. I know it was second from the top, so there it's back in. And I'm back in stack. I'm good to go. I put it back in stack, and I can do that all night long. There's no good explanation. So that is a very close-up trick with a deck of a memorized deck. So any card named, super strong. I call this Jim went to Memphis State University, which is now the University of Memphis, but at the time it was Memphis State. And their mascot is the Tigers, so I call that Smiling Tiger instead of Smiling Mule, just as a tribute to Jim who showed it to me. And his widow Harriet gave me permission to shoot it. So that's Smiling Tiger. Here's another one that I love to do. Let's apply memorized deck to mentalism. John, mentalism, if you come stand next to me, if you'll stand up like we're at a party, and you just stand right there, you stand right there, and here's the thing. First, before we go anywhere, I want you to make sure there's nothing in this pocket, nothing in that pocket. And I'm going to take one card out and put it in the pocket. I want you to make sure there's only one card in the pocket. No tunnels to other decks of cards. None of us know what it is. I'm going to look at the card so that I'll be the only person in the room. Have you heard of mentalism? I don't forget what it is. Mentalism is like sleight of hand magic, but instead of a visual experience. And most people think of it as mind reading. I have mental powers, but it's the opposite. It's mind writing. I can't read your mind, but I can influence you to think the things that I want you to think. Unfortunately, my powers are limited to the names of playing cards. But that's what you're pretty safe. So I'm going to try to influence you to name this card. Just clear your mind and look at me and what's my name?
Joe?
Yeah, that is correct. What card just popped into your head? Is there a particular, did you get the color first or what did you see first? Did you see the card when you looked in there?
I did not.
Make sure there's only one card. Please take it out.
There is only one card.
Take it out. Show everybody the card. Show everybody the card. That was the Four of Diamonds. That's like that. It's kind of reverse mentalism. Don't go anywhere. So this is great. So this is a mentalism style, a mental trick. And the effect is not any card thought of appears in the pocket. The effect, the card's already there. The effect is a thought appears in your mind, which is a really good effect. And so here's what I do. I fooled Eugene with this one. I just want to brag for a second. I got Eugene with that. So that's like one of the high points of my magical career. So what I do is I say, okay, I'm going to just take one card without looking and pop it in my pocket. And please make sure there's only one card in the pocket. What I have done is I've taken the top card of my stack and put it in the pocket. And I let you make sure there's only one, but don't look at it. I want to be the only person who knows what it is. So I know what the card, as long as I know, did you see the card? Very good. And I just stole it out. I put it in my pocket, I looked at it, and I palmed it and put it back on the book. And that's what went by Eugene. So the pocket is empty right now. Did it go by most of you?
Yeah.
Okay. So I look at it, I put it in there, I put it in there, I look at it, I put it in my pocket, I put it in my hand, take my hand out.
So good.
And so now the pocket is empty, and I say, very good. What card popped into your head? And then I say, what's my name? You want people to remember your name. I've worked in Atlanta Magic for 20-something years. And people say, oh, you're a magician. We had a magician in our party like last summer or whatever. I said, oh, really? Who was it? I don't know. I never want that. I'm going to try to get them to use my name in the context of doing it. I have another thing where I say, magic words. Do you know any magic words? Yes, do you know any magic words? I have one that's very powerful. Repeat it with me. Turner. Magic. Dot. Oh, you know it. Okay, it's very powerful. So it's funny, but I'm there. Yeah, there's a little marketing in there, and it's shameless, but it certainly helps to keep me working. So back to the trick. Pocket is empty. You name any random card. There's 7. Now I know that's 47. I think I've cut pretty close to it. Okay. So now I got a glimpse. I'm going to say, what came to you first, the color of the suit or what? And as she's thinking about it, I said, did you checked and made sure there was only one card? I'm just going to load the card, but in the process of pretending to help open the pocket, I just loaded it in there. I want you to reach in, make sure there's still only one card. So I'm reinforcing what we did before. Reach in there, only one card. Please take the card out. Look at it. Show everybody. It's the 7 of clubs. The one you pick. And that is a mentalism routine. So that you can have a seat. You can see it. And that's I call that mind writing, and it's in the book. Let's see.
Is there an advantage to knowing mnemonic versus Erickson?
Not really.
Yeah.
90-something% of all card magic will work with Aronson, Mnemonica, Particle System, Nicola, Patrick Redford. There's got to be a dozen out there. Joyle. Everybody has a version. Michael Skinner and the classic Sanford, I think there's a memorized deck. Michael Skinner just barely shuffled the deck 5 times and memorized it, so that he could just always get into his stack while pretending to shuffle.
And again, you go Pharaoh too.
Well, it's not that hard. I taught my daughter to do it sitting in an airport,
Okay.
and she's not a magician. You can get it. So, does anybody in the room have cards on them? Get 8 cards. And if you don't have 8, I have 10 side cards here. So there's 8. And I have another stack here. So there's 8. You have cards? There's 8. Can you loan somebody some cards? Okay, I'm gonna take 8. Okay, make sure 8 cards up. How many of you guys know Woody Aragon's Love Ritual with the 4 cards, and you rip them and you do all the stuff and you throw them away and all that?
We're gonna be ripping these.
We're not gonna rip them. That's why I came up with this as a substitute, so that I didn't have to have people rip up cards. When I was doing virtual stuff, I didn't want people to have to rip up their cards. I still wanted to play with something like that. And I started some other, we'll talk about that, but just mix up your cards. You can mix them face up and put one that you can remember at the front, just so you remember it. Very good. And then put your packet face down in your hand. Now, before we get to the actual fun part, we're going to do some exercises to make sure you understand how to follow directions. So, take one card from the top and move it to the bottom. Can you do that? Very good. Now, take another from the top, turn it face up, and put that on the bottom. So you can do that. You understand? I'm being clear. Now, push 2 cards off the top and put them as a pair to the bottom. Now, take 1 card from the bottom, turn it face up, and put it back on the bottom. Okay, here's an important technique we're going to use. Push over 2 cards as a pair and flip them over as a pair. Yep. Now just take the top card and turn it over on top. So we've done a little bit of mixing kind of all together. But what I'd like you to do now is just cut your packet anywhere you like and complete the cut. High, medium, low, just stop right there. And then push over the top 2 cards as a pair and flip them over. Now, if you want to do that again, you can cut anywhere you want, complete the cut, and push over the top 2 or the top 4 if you want to do 4. Push over the top 4 and turn them over as a unit. That's fantastic. If you want to do that again. If you want to turn the whole packet over, you can. Or not. And then cut anywhere you like. Push over 2 or 4 or 6. And flip them over as a unit. And if you want to cut again, you can. If you don't want to, you don't have to. But you would have to agree that everybody has had very free choices on how that works. Think about your card, spread through the packet, and see if you see your card face up. Don't tell me anything, but if you see your card face up, close the packet and turn the packet over in your hand. If you didn't see your card, then you know it's face down, but you don't know where it is. Right? So is everybody sure their card is face down now? And just for fun, cut anywhere until you have a card face up on top. And now you know this. Your card is face down somewhere, but you don't know where. And it was put there by your random choices of whether it be face up or face down. Now, take the first card, push it over, and turn it over on top. Now push 2 cards over and turn them over as a group. Now push 3 cards over and turn those over as a group. Now push 4 cards over and turn those over as a group. Now turn the whole packet over. Now turn over 1 card. Now turn over 2 cards as a group. Now turn over 3 cards as a group. And stop. Think about the card that you started with and spread through the packet. You'll see only 1 card is face up. And it is the card that you thought of to start with.
That's crazy.
And that
That is awesome.
is called 8 is Enough.
Wow.
It is my version to substitute in for tearing up cards. And there's a trick that was Bob Homer called the Bob Homer Cato principle. Like Cato, C-A-T-O. Cut and turn over was the principle. And there was a trick that came out, I don't know, 30 years ago, 40 years ago, called Baby Hummer. And it used 4 cards. And it ended the same way with an exception. The card you thought of was either the only one face up, or it was the only one face down. And you said only one card is reversed. Look at the card that's reversed and that's your card. Well, that's okay, I guess, if you're dealing with one person. But when I was doing Zoom, I wanted everybody to have the same picture. I didn't want some to be face up with one face down and others to be face down with one face up. I didn't like that. So I played with this, and I played with another version that used 6 cards. The other thing is, 1 out of 4, you have a 25% chance of just getting it right if you just said mix them up and turn one over. I mean, 1 out of 4 times you're going to be right. So I wanted to add a little smoke. So I came up with this. It uses 8 cards. I think that gives you enough. It feels like it's random, but the process that you have to deal with is still manageable. And I disguised part of the process by talking about we're going to learn some moves before we start. And so those first moves where I'm just sort of explaining, this is what I mean by this is what I mean by that. You're doing part of the work, but we're just not calling it work. We're calling it preparation. And so and this, they can use their cards. You can have business cards. By the way, 10 cards to pocket can be done with business cards. If you got 10 business cards that are all blank on the back, or at least you have to have a few that are blank on the back for the switch at the end. This can be done with business cards. A lot of good card magic can be adapted to use business cards. And now if you're in a professional situation or a professional environment and you do magic with your business card, it's a different experience. I'll just put it to you that as a person who's making a living doing magic, that can make you stand out. It feels less like a card trick, even though it's a business card. So the target card ends up on the face. I'm going to use the ace of spades, whatever it is. And if you just tell them, look, mix them up and look at the cards, find one you like, and put it on the face. This time I use the 7 dice. And all of this is in the PDF that you're going to get for free, so you don't have to write this down. Okay. So, yeah, so I'm going to give you this. This is a gift. Take one card and move it to the bottom. Then you take a card from the top, turn it face up, and put it on the bottom. Then you take 2 cards from the top and put them to the bottom as a unit. And then when I say take a card from the bottom and turn it face up, stick it back on the bottom. So you know the difference between face up and face down. Fantastic. Now, when I say push over 2 and turn them on a face up together, turn over 2, and then just take the top card and turn it over. Now, that's all the prep, but I've done it under the premise of these are the tools you're going to need. Now, if you look through here, you'll see that the cards are alternating, except for one. It should be face up, but it's face down. And that is the selection. And that's how this works. I just did all of that to get into this position, where they're alternating except for the target. Now, the cut anywhere and turn over 2 will work with any even number of cards. But you can cut 1 card to the bottom and turn over the top 2 cards. Or you can literally cut at any of these locations and then turn over any even number of cards. I'll turn over 4. Cut anywhere, turn over 2. And as a result, I could cut, if cutting anywhere is a thing, then so is cutting nowhere, because nowhere is also a place. And turn over any even number, I could turn over the whole pack, which I did, right? And then you can cut anywhere, turn over 2, or turn over 4. If you're turning over 2, you turn over 4. You turn over 6, or you cut it and turn it over. Now, this is where I decided I wanted to make everybody have the same picture. So I say spread through and look and see if you see your card face up. Close the deck. If you saw your card face up, turn your packet over. If not, just leave it where it is. All right? So now we know everybody's got their card face down. And then we just need a face-up card on top. So I'll say cut anywhere until you have a face-up card on top. Or spread through and cut a face-up card on top. And now, I can honestly say, you don't know where your card is. That is true. it is positioned in a place that was determined by your own cutting and shuffling. That is true, which I think is beautiful. And now this cleanup is a rotating thing. I talked to Max about it, and he said he invented it. He said that's something that I used in some blah 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 in 1982. Okay, I believe you. But I came up with this. So you turn over one on top, then push over two and turn over two, then push over three and turn over three, then push over four, and turn over four. Then you're going to turn the whole thing over, push over one, push and turn over two, push and turn over three. So you do four from the bottom, flip it, and then do three, and then they're all face down except for one. And it will be the card that originally top. That is, so, oh, thank you. Good for virtual, good for a group. If you have a group, you're doing training and they're coming back from lunch, put a packet of 8 cards on everybody's table. Or get out 8 business cards and put an X on one, right? Or sign your name on one. They can do it with that. But that is one that everybody can, it's following instructions. So if you want to talk about the importance of processes or following instructions or staying within regulations or all of the things that you might have to speak about as a leader or as a trainer, then you can use this to have fun while doing that. But that is, I love that. It's very useful. Let's see. And then one last thing I had to share with you. Who has a pack of 52 cards? John, please join me.
With the pack?
With your deck. Yes. Bring your cards up to the table. And that was in my pocket. It's clean table. Could I ask you to put the cards on the table and shuffle them? You're confident that is 52, no duplicates.
Yep.
Please shuffle them up so you know they're mixed. And I have some envelopes whose use will become apparent later on. And please put the deck on the table and cut it into 2 roughly equal portions, and then cut each of those into another pack. Perfect. So we've got 4 that are determined by his choices. I have 3 envelopes. Please place an envelope on 3 packets. So there. So that means this one is not in play. This is the deck that you could have had. And it is king, pair of kings, jack, 6, 7, 8, pair of 7s. Not too much going on in there, but that's okay. We'll set those aside. Those are the things we could have had. Here is the packet that you designated as packet number 1. Just out of curiosity, let's take a look at here. There's a lot going on in there. Please mix those up so I don't know anything out of order. And then if you will, please just cut them onto the table into 2 packets. And we'll take one. Do you have a particular preference for which one you want?
Absolutely.
You want this one?
Yes.
And then that leaves me with all of this. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to let you tell me where should I cut the packet. That becomes the top. And I want you to take the top card and the bottom card from my packet at the spot that you chose, and any card from the middle. Just add those to your stack. To your packet.
Okay.
Fantastic. All of those choices were yours. I couldn't have controlled any of that. You even told me where to cut. Here is what I put in an envelope. This should have been 3. 3 goes in 3. 1 goes in 1. My black cards will number 1 less than your red cards. I have 1, 2, 3, 4 black cards, which means if that's 1 less, you should have in your stack 5 red cards. You chose these, yourself. You even pulled some from my stack over there. How many red cards do you have in your pile? Put them on the table.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
You have 5. That worked out perfect. That's fantastic. You can tell because of all the applause. We'll set these aside. This is packet number 2. Just see. You can mix those up for me if you will. And then separate them into 2 piles on the table. Those aren't quite even, but they're close. Do you have a preference on this time?
This,
You want that one?
yeah.
Very good. Before you take it, I want you to slide 1 card into my stack. Let's see if this works. My black cards will number 1 more than your red cards. So I have only got 2 black cards, which means in that whole packet you should have only 1 red card. So you have, how many do you have?
Only 1.
Only 1
red
red card.
card.
That is fantastic that that worked out too. These are your cards, right? Okay, well, we'll
What are
set
you
these
talking about going to
aside,
school?
even though it's sure not,
So good.
sure gotten quiet in here.
We're messing around.
Stunned in silence.
Well, that means that we've got, this last packet here. If you will, please take it and shuffle it.
All right.
And this time, deal it out into 2 packets. And one of those is for me, push it over. And then, remember what we did? I want you to take yours, spread them out,
Spread them. and
just
all-
spread them in
okay.
your hands,
Yep.
face down, and then, we're gonna cut them, there, put this one on top.
Okay.
Now give me the top and the bottom, and any card from the middle. Fantastic. And set those down. We'll take all of these. Third prediction, my black cards will number the same as your red cards. How many red cards do you have? 4? So in all of this stack, I can only have 4 black cards. Ooh, it's getting a little, that's a long way to go. Let's just see. No. 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 All right. Self-working.
So good.
This is a wonderful 3-phase routine that is based on a Herb Zero principle that I first saw used by David Corsero sitting at lunch at Fechter's 20 years ago. And it's a mystery to me that it's so good, and it really is simple. How many of you have done anything with mirror skill, Stuart James mirror skill, where you take out 1 red card and then you set for every pair, if it's mixed, put it here, if it's the same, put it there, and if it's 2 blacks, put it, okay. Well, the problem with that is you have to go through the whole deck. And so this principle, in David Ben's book on Herb Zero that came out several years ago, maybe a decade ago, there's a paragraph or 2 in a routine called Minimal Mirror Skill that Herb Zero put out. And he talks about some stuff, but then he describes a little routine just as a throwaway, a little idea in a paragraph, where he says, well, if I have some pellets where I've written predictions on it, and I nail nick the pellets so I know which one is which, then I can have someone just choose a packet of cards and hand me a pellet, and I can make it work out. And I thought, well, I like that idea, but we could probably dress it up even bigger. And the whole point of the pellet being anonymous is really irrelevant, because if I have them cut a shuffled deck into 4 packets, and the reason I chose 4 is to reduce the number of cards. It could be 3, it could be 5, be easy. But just if I have them do 4, and then these, let's just do it this way. The envelopes just add drama, but you could just do it like this, and they put it on these, let's say. Okay? What I'm going to do is everything is based on counting the number of red cards in a packet. And I'm going to get rid of this whole packet to start with, which is making my life easier. So as I go through here and I look at this, and I say, look at the king and the queen, those pair of queens, so I'm just commenting, but I'm counting 5, 6, 7, 8. So I see that I've gotten rid of 8 red cards already. And what I'm going to do is look at this and try to find an 8 in this stack, and just set that aside. But that 8 over there is telling me how many red cards I have seen. So I'm out of play. I mean, it's actually the closest thing to you, but it's not on stage, so it doesn't matter. But to me, it's like a tally board. So I'm keeping track of the number of red cards I've counted so far. So we go to this one, number 1. I know this is 1 less. This one is 1 less. So I'm going to count the reds. There's 3, 4, 5. The key number is 5, so I have to go 1 less. So I have to get 4 cards from this stack. This is a pretty thick stack, so if he just cuts it evenly, I'm going to have 6 or 7 cards. Like there's 6 there, and there's 7 there. So whatever packet I get, I've just got to contrive a reason for him to take 2 of them away. I just need to end up with 4 cards. Whatever that key number is, in this case it's minus 1, it'll make the prediction work. Let's go with just the prediction number itself, first of all, so we understand the principle. The key number here is 5. There's 5 red cards, right? So if I get 5 cards, it doesn't matter what 5 they are. I know that my black cards will equal his red cards. My black cards, he will have 3 red cards. And the reason that works is, of the 5 cards, what if I got all 5 red cards? Let's say that by magic he gave me all 5 red cards. I say my black cards equal your red cards. My black cards are 0, his red cards are 0. And that's the next option that could happen. And that's the next option that could happen. And that's the next option that could happen. And that's just how, it's just A equals A. But it's so disguised that it doesn't matter. So the principle works on that key number. And the third one is just the key number. But the first one is 1 less. So if I get 4, then my black cards will be 1 less than his red cards. If I got 4 red cards, my black cards are 1 less than his red cards. Same. So it doesn't matter. So this one, I'm going to get any 4 cards. What I can do is have him, and just make up a reason for him to give you 4 cards. What's your name? John? Is it with the H or without? Without the H. So I'll say J-O-N. And then just for fun, pick out any card and put it on there. Very good. So I have 4. Or I could say, cut anywhere. Give me the top and bottom. Do it again. Cut anywhere. Give me the top and bottom. You would agree those were your choices. Which is true. The number was my choice. But I'm framing it, this was all completely by you. So now I know my black cards will equal your red cards. My black cards are 1 less than your red cards. I have 3 black cards. You should have 4 red cards. 1, 2, 3, 4, which is correct. So now I take these all aside. I know I've got 5 red cards that were in play, and I've already seen 8. So I know 13 red cards have been seen. So I'm just going to set that over there, and I cut a 10 and a 3.
Yeah, that's good.
So I'm just using this to cheat openly. So this is gonna be one more. I know that number 2 is one more. So whatever the red cards are, well, there's a lot. This one's gonna be hard. This one's gonna be hard. There's 2, 4, 6, 7 red cards. And I need one more, so I need 8 cards. So please deal them. 1, there's 5. Let's say pick any packet. And these are mine, okay? Deal those out again. And then just,
Which one?
yeah, pass me one, that one, okay, done. I have 8. Right? I'm making up a process. This is just yes. If he'd given me that, then I would say that's fantastic. And now, just slide me one more for fun. I don't know how it's going to work. My black cards will be one more than your red cards. My black cards are 1, and so you should have 0 red cards, which is correct. Okay, so now I have 7 plus 13 is 20. So I don't even have to look at this last packet. I know there are 6 red cards. So this time, I don't even have to look at it, which is good because I hope they'll remember that that's how I did all of them. I'll say once again, shuffle the packet. And deal them out to a pair of hands, 2, 3. So there's 2 extras in both packets. So I'm gonna, each of these has 8 cards. I was just watching, so I know if I take this, I'm gonna say, fantastic. Before we go any further, slide any 2 cards from my packet to yours. You can even look at them if you want to. You can take a pair, a mixed pair, or a red pair, or black pair, whatever. I don't care. So that changes the numbers.
So you were looking down when we did it, and you were just listening.
And I was actually watching.
Okay.
I'm watching, but it doesn't mean anything. The only thing that I'm going to do on this packet is I'm going to look for a black card to put on the bottom, so that this revelation goes to the end. So as I pick these up, I'm going to, there was a red card on there, but I'm going to accidentally just manage to have a black card on the bottom. My black cards will equal your red cards. That's a lot. How many do you have that are red? So, and you'll put out 4 red cards. And this is all just drama. Oh, there's a black. There's a black. No. Yes. I'm scared to look. That is called, I call that 0 skill, which you need 0 skill to do. But it's based on a 0 routine, and it's a mirror skill variant. And it was published in the Lincoln Ring, so if you have Lincoln Ring, you can just look up 0 skill in one of my columns, probably 10 years ago. And if not, it's in the PDF that you'll be getting from me after we finish today. That is everything I brought. It's been 2 hours. You had a question about what I was doing last night.
Right.
And I did a multiple selection routine in the show last night, which I do a version based, I learned it from Paul Cummins. So I do it the way Paul Cummins taught me, and I know there's lots of other ways to do it. Although Calabini has a version where you don't have to do a side steal every time, you're kind of just forcing the next card. But I do a side steal. The way I do a side steal is I drop, I show the card that they've chosen, I say remember it, and as I put it back, I put it halfway out like that. Then I stop, and I pause, and I talk, and I square those up, and I just put it on top. So there, and then I wait. I mean, the traditional way is kick it out and do it right then. And sometimes I do that if I feel like I can. But if I show that, I said, fantastic. And also, don't forget your card. If you do, it's going to be a colossal waste of time. Right? And I just did it right then. So here it is. Face up. Face up. And I'll say, fantastic. Randy, don't forget the card. We'll just, so say stop. Remember that card. And push it like that. Take it out. And then put it on top and slide it back on top.
Really sucks.
I'm almost sliding, I just want to get part of that card on top, and then the deck is going under the card. I don't want to come way out here and do it. The whole idea is that you're just kind of squaring the deck.
So the same thing as earlier when you showed the steel move, you're moving the packet away from the card.
Yes.
The same thing here, you're not moving the card on
I
the
would say
packet.
this time I'm moving the card.
Okay.
This time I'm moving the card out and then onto the top. One thing you can do to help that is once you get it out, you can sort of dip this inside edge down a little bit. That'll help you clear it. So that's how I do a side steal. I learned it from Paul Cummins and Robert Bengal, who's the name you may have heard. And the main idea is just do it slow. If it takes all day to do, you get there and have to wait, like Roger Klaus said, do half a move. Wait a few minutes, and then you can just, I'll finish it later while I'm talking. I got nowhere to go. So there's that. Any other questions? Okay, well then I want to close with, please get your phones. This is not a trick. This is not a trick. Go to turnermagic.com/cartoons.
I'm so
turnermagic.com/cartoons. I want to just share with you some things that have haunted me through my whole career in performing. But I just leave these with you for fun. This cartoon at the top. There's this guy with a pickaxe plowing on, can't quite get to the diamonds. Doesn't know they're there. This guy on the bottom has given up, and he's left it with an inch to go. This cartoon has probably cost me $500,000, maybe $1 million. If I had stayed in management consulting, I would probably have retired by now as a partner, and probably have a couple houses and fancy cars, and probably a third or fourth wife. And probably some kids that didn't want to talk. And that's not saying that everybody, but that was just the high pressure kind of environment I was in. And it was killing me. And so I decided to try this and to do magic. And I'm quite sure that I have left aside quite a lot of money and secure retirement. But I've taken my family around the world. I've seen things and gone places I could never have afforded to go myself, but because other people were hiring me to do it, I got to do things. And this haunts me. This keeps me awake at night. It's like, should I give up? Should I quit doing what I'm doing and go get a 9 to 5 or 7:30 to 6 or whatever it is? And this is okay. So there's that. That hurts. That cartoon still bothers me. The next one, this one, is for when I think. I do magic. And Orlando launched 8 news networks for CNN. And, this guy was a dentist, and this guy raised $20 million for charity, and this guy did this, and this guy did this, and the people I went to school with, one's a Mayo Clinic, and one's, all these people do all these things. And I'm like, what do you do? Well, I'm a magician, and I've been doing it for 25 years. And then I remember this cartoon, and I don't know what's going on. There's clearly a war zone, and there's this kid who wakes up in a tent, and he's in a food line, and it looks like a prison camp of some kind. And he goes past the guard with the gun, and he's got his bowl of gruel or whatever, and there's the medical tent. And then he sees a clown juggling and entertaining this crowd of people standing around. And then he's getting bombed, and then there's some other people going on, and there's the fancy pants dictator, and then he goes back to bed. And at night, after all of that, what's in his head is that moment that that performer gave him. And that's getting him through this situation. That made me feel better. This one was hard. This one is just a reminder that this is not trivial. I guess it was Max who said that leave it to the 20th century magicians to take something profound and in less than 100 years trivialize it in the popular culture. We're guilty of that. Max is right. But even so, what we deliver to people is not trivial. The idea that they get to experience a moment where the world stops being the way that they're used to for even a short time is a welcome break for most everybody. Some people don't like it, and I respect that. But most people really do appreciate it. I went to a church today that I'd never been to up in Cincy. And they were there, what do you do? What do you do? I'm like, well, I performed magic. Really? That's amazing. People were like, can you show me something? An old person, a young person, whatever, a middle-aged person, they all want to see you do something. Nobody asks their mechanic to show them a wrench at church. Right? But they might ask you for free this and free medical advice and free legal advice and all that. I get it. But I mean, you're standing there like, okay, they're like ready to go. They're a demanding audience, really. Not many people get to experience that, and we get to experience that. That is valuable. Please remember it. How many of you some of you are too young to have read Highlights magazine as a child? Well, I used to read it at the doctor's office, and Goofus and Gallant. So I found a Goofus and Gallant cartoon and added my own captions. Goofus makes large awkward turns that are not motivated enough to justify the movement and which only call attention to the action he was trying to conceal. Gallant uses relaxed, natural actions that keep attention properly focused on items in the frame, making out-of-frame items and actions practically imperceptible, just like that running tally of red cards. It didn't mean anything to anybody except me. It's in a plain view, but it had nothing to do with anything, and so it didn't matter. So I think that's fun, Goofus and Gallant. And the last one, I was watching DC Universe cartoons on HBO Max, and this one came up with, what's the guy's name? John Constantine, the wizard in the DC. He's drunk all the time, but he's like DC Doctor Strange, but he's like a drug addict. That's what. And so he's in there, and he's going through some kind of weird universe, and he talks about close-up magic, and then it's the thumb thing. I just thought that was funny, so I had to take a screenshot. So there you go. So those are some fun cartoons. Some just are silly, but that second one is the one with the kid in the war zone. That is giving me comfort that this thing that we do is worthwhile in its own way. And not everybody gets to experience the idea that things are really bad, that one person that you did that for on that one day, they would remember that. And it can really turn a day or a week or a year around for somebody if you get them at the right moment. So please use your powers for good. I'll close with that. Any questions or considerations? Okay, thank you very much. Thank you. I have 8 copies of these notes. They are $20. Venmo, PayPal, cash, whatever you want is fine.